everyone. Welcome to our first FinTech Career Virtual Summit. My name is Patricia. My guest today is Reggie Middleton. Reggie Middleton is an American entrepreneur who is the founder of Veritasium and the finance and technology blog Boombust blog. In 2014, he founded Veritasium, the progenitor of Ultracoin technology. According to Mr. Middleton, Ultracoin exploits modern cryptography in the fields of finance, economics, and value transfer to disintermediate legacy financial institutions, such as Wall Street banks. Veritasium was formed to allow individuals and business entities to conduct financial transactions directly peer-to-peer without knowing or trusting each other and without the involvement of a broker or a bank. He also made numerous appearances on Kaiser Report, Bloomberg, CNBC, and he has been featured in the Huffington Post, Forbes, Crain's New York, Fortune, and other financial publications. Reggie, could you tell us what do you do?
Well, I am the strategic disruptor. My job in the enterprise is to figure out what's going on, find inefficiencies, and remove those inefficiencies using our products, whether it's the software or the strategy or the knowledge. To give an example, the legacy banking system, the way things are normally done in finance, where you have a hub and spoke model. You have a hub and exchange, New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, London Stock Exchange. You have spokes going around that hub, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and then you have investors, hedge funds and pension funds, mom and pops outside, and you have smaller brokers standing in between those, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, etc. I find this to be an inefficiency because you have to trade minimum amounts, settlement times of 3 days or more. There's minimum account sizes, values, etc. So we take our technology to allow any individual or entity to trade the value that's available on these exchanges directly with each other. So if you want to buy 30 euros worth of Facebook stock, you can actually purchase the value of Facebook stock as represented by 30 euros through our platform, peer-to-peer, with somebody else directly. And you don't need the broker, you don't need the bank, you don't need the exchange. All you need is our software wallet and the capital, which is right now a coin, but the coin could be Bitcoin, which can also be locked in or tokenized to represent US dollars or euro or whatever you want. This is a sea change in the way things are done because now you can have anybody trade value. That value could be equities, stock, bonds, currencies, currency pairs, indexes, metals, gold, silver, aluminum, GDP, electricity prices, etc. This is one example of what's capable by the disintermediation factor of our platform. We are, of course, going to move into many other verticals outside of value trading and finance. There's also real estate and insurance, etc. But basically, we're taking the hub and spoke, highly centralized model, and we're making it a fully distributed model where everybody can deal directly with each other. Long-winded way of hopefully answering the question.
Yes. I have another question. Could you explain what is the peer-to-peer economy?
The peer-to-peer economy is the portion of the economy that is transacted by individuals with individuals directly. I explained peer-to-peer value transfer using our software and platform where you could trade the value of, say, Facebook stock for euro directly with somebody else who wants to trade euro for Facebook stock. That's one transaction. The peer-to-peer economy is an entire economy when everybody is able to deal directly with each other. And they bypass exchanges, they bypass centralized insurance companies, they bypass banks, they bypass Uber, they bypass eBay, they bypass Airbnb, because the blockchain technology that we build our platform on allows entities or individuals to deal directly with each other without risk. It's called zero trust. So I can do a deal with you financially, and I don't have to worry about you cheating me, or you don't have to worry about me cheating you because of the escrow system of the blockchain. In doing that, now Uber, which is a wildly successful company, acts as a server-centric middleman between drivers and passengers. In a peer-to-peer economy, you don't need an Uber because the drivers and the passengers can now deal directly with each other, peer-to-peer. Airbnb, again, a centralized server-centric intermediary between those who have inventory and housing, okay, or lodging, and people who want it. You don't need an Airbnb going through our system. You could deal peer-to-peer. Now, those who want lodging can deal directly with those who don't want lodging without the Airbnb standing between, using smart contracts to mimic and imitate the contracts that Airbnb enforces through their server. And this works with any intermediary that extracts value through rent seeking by basically being a go-between and charging a fee to get past the gate. Before this technology was enabled, you needed a go-between for orderly commerce. Now you no longer need it for orderly commerce, since everybody could deal directly because they can't cheat each other through the blockchain and smart contracts. So away with Airbnb, away with Uber, away with eBays, away with PayPal's even, away with JP Morgan's and Morgan Stanley's, etc., as they currently stand. This brings transaction costs very, very low, as close to zero as practically possible, by increasing safety and speed. That's the peer-to-peer economy.
Thank you, Reggie. You mentioned about blockchain and about smart contracts. And could you tell us what is blockchain?
A blockchain is a now overused term that basically defines a database that is built one section at a time, one block at a time. So a transaction is made between two entities. It's verified by a bank of computers. In the term of the public Bitcoin blockchain, the largest and most powerful computing network in the entire world, once that transaction is verified, it's put as a block into a chain of additional blocks which stand as historical transactions. So you have block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4, block 5, the first block being the first transaction ever transacted or ever done on the Bitcoin network. And then the second block is the second transaction, so on. Each block, each transaction is verified by this network, which is a amalgam of many, many computers. And like I said, this amalgam is now the greatest computing network in terms of raw processing power in the world, greater than any private network, and greater than most networks put together of the large networks. And so the blockchain is a chain of these transactions after they've been verified by the network, lined up one by one. Once they're lined up and put in a block, they're immutable and they can't be changed. They're cut in stone and they're there forever for everybody in the network to see. This is what prevents the fraud and the ability to manipulate things. In order to change that network, we have to overpower this entire computer. In order to change the record from the blocks, you have to overpower the entire network. And it's the power and utility of this network that makes the public blockchain a utility that's basically indispensable, just like the internet. And it gets stronger and stronger as time goes on. So that's what the blockchain is. Smart contracts are contracts, social contracts or agreements, not necessarily legal contracts between two parties. For instance, I make an agreement that if I send you a certain amount of capital, you will send me a white Apple 6S iPhone, 32 gigabytes, 6 Plus. Okay? We agree, we script it into a contract, and then we send the money, right, contingent upon that contract. That means that I can send you the whatever, $750 for the iPhone, and I could trust that you send me the iPhone because the contract has the terms, and the terms are very specific. You send me a phone, and instead it's 16 gigabyte black iPhone 5 with 2 cracks in the screen. Even though I've already sent you the money, you cannot spend it because the money is programmed to adhere to the clauses of the contract. So because you cannot gain from defrauding me, you have no financial incentive to defraud me. And because I cannot gain from defrauding you, I have no financial incentive to defraud you either. This makes peer-to-peer intercontinental commerce as easy as dealing with somebody you know very well standing next to you. It also eliminates counterparty risk and credit risk, legal risk, etc. Certain legal risks. These contracts are so ironclad, as long as math prevails, as long as 2 plus 2 equals 4, the contract will go as planned, even if the contract breaks the law. Even a court of law can't change its contracts because the contracts are cryptographically driven and mathematically derived. Now, our process, our product, makes these contracts as easy to create as filling in a form with maybe 5 blanks. These are the contracts or swap contracts for buying stock exposure. So you want to go long IBM and you want to pay euros for it. You type in IBM for receive exposure, EUR for sell exposure. You put the amount of euros you want to exchange, right? You put the time period. You click enter. I read that contract. I agree with it. Now we've just created a smart contract that quickly with terms that are etched in the stone, verified by the computer network, and go into the blockchain, block by block. Etched in the stone forever, unwavering, immutable, and cannot be changed. After the end of the contract, which is the time period that we agreed upon, the winner gets their profits, the loser takes their losses. Money is returned to both parties according to the contract and how the stock price wavered or fluctuated. So that's an example of the blockchain, a layman's example, and the smart contracts. And that applies to everything. We can make it apply to selling cars, driving cars. We can have something called the value net, which is basically the monetary overlay on top of the internet, where everybody uses our verification technology embedded within their cars. Say everybody's driving a Tesla, and you want to get from downtown Poland up into the midtown section of Warsaw. So you're driving, there's a lot of traffic, and then you tell your car to bid €5. Or, you start bidding at, say, €1 for each car ahead of you to get past. The car can either accept the bid, deny it, or counter the bid. Okay? You have a €30 budget, and then you could potentially get the next 60 cars ahead of you to move out of the way in exchange for a half a euro, a euro and a quarter, etc. This can be done autonomously by the cars and the car computer using our network, bidding back and forth with smart contracts. And then you can literally buy your way through traffic. You gain because you get to where you're going faster at a maximum cost of X, which is €30. The other cars go because their position in traffic is not worth as much to them as €1. They can let you go by for €1. This is an example of a distributed smart contract trading system that has nothing to do with stocks and finance, but works in the real world.
And is this a big thing like the internet?
It's potentially bigger than the internet. The internet is a network in which information and data is transferred back and forth. Pre-internet days, everything took longer, much more inefficient. You had to do physical mail. More advanced people did faxes. Now you have the ability to do, two-way teleconferencing like we're doing now. I'm doing this through my cell phone, a handheld computer, with Internet I/O, input-output, and information transfer, data transfer capabilities is more powerful than the mainframes of just, 15, 20 years ago, literally. But that is data. The value net, the blockchain, the peer-to-peer economy is the economic and monetary overlay of this technology on top of the internet. Now we can trade money, and not just money, but actual value, peer-to-peer, frictionlessly at a very low cost. This allows you to redefine many business models and make you really consider what value is. A lot of people think of value as money or maybe assets such as real estate. But value can be something as ephemeral as your privacy. You could go to Google, you could download your entire Google history, transaction history, and you'll find some very interesting things. You can literally sell this or portions of it to medical companies, to advertising companies, piecemeal, bit by bit, as a value transfer. Medical records, health, information, knowledge, stock price, bond prices, real estate, risk. You could trade risk as a natural value, practically anything, your time, etc. So when we go from physically passing papers and coins and objects to digitally passing through the internet, the next stage is passing actual value, through the internet. And most importantly, this can now be done peer-to-peer. So you take out the middlemen, and the fees that the middlemen charge are now redistributed to the actual participants in the transaction, you and I.
Mm-hmm. And could you tell us what is your product capable of right now?
Right now, it's capable of doing as of right now, it's capable of doing the financial product value swap. So it can trade roughly 45,000 tickers, all the major geographic bourses, all the big exchanges, all asset classes, stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, indices, etc. It has digital leverage, and you could go long and short. And it could trade pairs, so you could get very, very exotic. You could do the Ukrainian hryvnia euro pair by the U.S. dollar, Argentinian peso, something exotic like that. You could go long gold, short silver, long Citibank, short Deutsche Bank. Basically whatever your imagination could come up with. We are advancing this to be able to trade specific things, such as you go into the balance sheet, you could go long non-performing loans on Citibank's balance sheet and short, say, cash flow on their cash flow statement. So you can not only trade actual stocks, you could trade performance, granular performance of individual companies. We're also moving it on to enable the trading of titles of real estate and the actual cash flows from the real estate, and a variety of other things, most of which I'm not at liberty to go through. You could also use these to create asset management portfolios of building exposures, very granular. So you could build an exposure portfolio for a retirement or a hedge fund, stocks, bonds, electricity futures, etc.
Mm-hmm. And what makes you different from the crowd?
Well, the vast majority of the crowd, practically everybody, is taking this technology, and in finance, they're using it to bolster the back end of banks, to allow banks to clear transactions faster or to send remittances back and forth. Other entities are using the database portion, the data tracking portion of the blockchain to do things such as memorialize notaries, title and deed transfer, etc. We are enabling the clients of banks to deal directly with each other, hence go around the banks in totality. So instead of taking the clearing function of Morgan Stanley and dropping it from 3 to 7 days to 24 hours, we're taking Morgan Stanley's clients and enable them to trade the products that Morgan Stanley offers directly with each other without Morgan Stanley being involved at all, and trading that with less counterparty and credit risk because of the blockchain attributes, and allowing it to clear within minutes. So basically taking the best that Morgan Stanley can hope to offer and giving it directly to their clients to do business directly. So we're empowering the people or empowering the end user, with the end user being very large companies, hedge funds, pension funds, family offices, corporations, etc.
Mm-hmm. And in the summary, would you like to add something?
The business has several portions. We have the software engineering and development, that is the platform that allows the value trading. We have a consulting business to basically assist in getting any entity up to speed and understanding anything that has to do with our technology, as long as it's running parallel to our platform. Everybody has a lot to learn, and a lot of consulting firms are primarily software engineering consulting or strategy. But I feel that, and we feel as an entity, that the financial and economic portions of it get very little attention, which is why a lot of entities are moving off into the private blockchain, private network direction, and they're eschewing the public blockchain, public network, despite the fact that the public network is growing faster than anybody else, is more secure, provenly more secure than everybody else, has been longer lasting than everybody else, and has significantly more computing power than everybody else. So when you add the economic and the financial portion with the strategic and the technological, you get a very different view. And that's where our consulting really comes into play. And we do research as well. I come from a financial background. So to bolster the trading through our platform, or use of our platform, we offer research. Our research has been very renowned. We call it the fall of Bear Stearns months before they collapsed, Lehman Brothers. Very recently, 2 months ago, we called the breaking of an Italian bank. Reuters just announced yesterday that Italian bank is crashing, 14% drop in stocks, 40% drop in price for the year, and a dramatic increase in losses. This was all predicted by our fundamental research capabilities, or forensic research capabilities. We do this for finance, for insurance, real estate, technology, in all sectors. Now, you take our fundamental and financial and global macro research ability, we take our consulting, and we take our technology platform that allows entities to do peer-to-peer, and we've basically replicated the entire investment banking genre industry. But we've done it on a very, very, very low cost peer-to-peer basis. And we plan on expanding way past the financial industry very soon. But even as it is right now, we've taken probably the highest input costs of most companies, financial expenses, banking expenses, investment expenses, asset management expenses, etc. And we've made it basically risk-free, do-it-yourself, with independent information, independent consulting, and independent advisory.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Reggie, for taking your time and providing this very helpful information.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So I will finish right now because they always can cut it, right? And do you think that I supposed to ask you maybe one more question? Or in your opinion, everything is fine? And how do you feel?
I think it went well. I was doing all the talking. I didn't hear it, but I think it went well.
Yes, so I think that Nako will have to choose something because it's supposed to be 5 minutes or 10 minutes, so I am not sure if she will be able to, in terms of introduction, right? Introduction, publish all answers, so we will see, because she told me 5-10 minutes. So it will be up to her. My idea is that maybe I can ask you one more question if they would like to use it like a kind of promotional material. Like I can ask you like what do you do, or what is Veritasium about, and you can tell me briefly the most important information.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Okay. Sounds good.
Do you think it's a good idea?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I will ask you the question. Cool. Okay. Reggie, could you tell us what Veritasium is about?
Veritasium is about enabling the peer-to-peer economy. Basically, we allow any entity or any individual to onboard, to enter the peer-to-peer economy through our platform, which allows you to create smart contracts, basically unbreakable computer code, and to trade value or deal financially with any individual, any country that has computer access, internet access. So Veritasium is like the window, all right, the entranceway to the peer-to-peer economy. We provide the platform. We provide the easy interface, the easy on-ramp. We also provide the consulting and the research to bring everybody up to speed, not only in dealing with the technology that brings you upon the peer-to-peer economy, but to give you the knowledge to manipulate that technology wisely.
Thank you. And could you tell me what are advantages of peer-to-peer economy?
The advantages are, number one, very low cost as compared to centralized systems because there are no gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are rent seekers, which is an economic term. It doesn't mean your landlord collecting rent at the end of the month. It means an entity or individual that stands in between two others and collects economic rents or money for something that they don't offer the requisite economic value in return. For instance, you could rent a 5-inch or half-meter strip of land in between the doorway to a movie theater in the street. The movie theater catches on fire, everybody's rushing to get out. You could charge everybody $20 to step past your doorway because you own that strip of land. Okay, so you can make a lot of money, but you're extracting economic rent for the people coming out because you're not giving the requisite value. So when you're knocked over or somebody creates a path around that half-meter strip of land, that disintermediates you, takes you from the middle, and the people allow you to go around. And now, for nothing or much lower cost, they can all get out the burning theater. So that's a dramatic, rudimentary explanation of disintermediation and of rent seeking and what makes the peer-to-peer economy so important. Naturally, think of water flowing. You have a dam. If enough pressure flows in the water, builds on one side, the water finds ways to the other side, whether seeping through the cracks, going underneath, or going over the dam. And that's how the peer-to-peer economy works in disintermediation. It allows any rent seekers to be disintermediated. You go around them one way or the other. The only way that intermediators, or those who are in between, can stay in between, is that they provide the value that they're charging for. So if someone, offers you a very good deal and gives significant, I hate to use the word value again, but does a good job, they're good at their job, well then you want them to be there. Okay, but most rent seekers do not, and they're able to extract value simply because of a lack of general knowledge or lack of access. We take our software and allow the peer-to-peer economy general access to everybody.
So basically you create a win-win situation.
Correct. Win-win for everybody except for those who don't earn their keep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Reggie, I will right now disconnect. I think that is everything. Thank you very much. I will disconnect with you and I will check only the recording and I will come back to you to say you something.
Okay.
How is it?